Pastor Tim Berlin was kind enough to allow the 10th Congressional GOP to hold a delegate sign-up event at his church, Faith Baptist Church, in Clinton Township. Pastor Berlin greeted our members with a few words of wisdom.
We are glad that you are here, and we are always happy to host. Can I just say that as a party, we need to understand that there is an enemy, and it isn't each other. And at some point, we're going to have a commonality about who we are and be able to disagree on some of the things that are off of the basis or off the foundation. There is a clear directive of the liberals to undermine anything we'll recognize in Michigan. That is a fact. And so the real enemy is the liberals. And though there may be people in the party that would align themselves in ways we would not like, or associate themselves with people that maybe we can't stand, or maybe even disagree with us on some things that we are ardent and adamant about, there is a clear direction, and I think that it's important. When you stop and you think about a republic form of government, our founding fathers, our framers were brilliant, and they were brilliant in the two things that they understood about God. And many people are ignorant of this reality. God, in all of his designs, all of them, have two main emphases. They all centered around the central theme of everything God designed is his son, Jesus Christ. That's who he exalts in everything. But the two things he teaches is personal responsibility, personal initiative. In other words, God's plan of salvation is clear. Nobody can get saved for you. Nobody can go to heaven for you, right? It's a responsibility. We have to decide. We have to choose. We have to make a decision. And we have to initiate that. We have to make a decision ourselves. Nobody else can do it for us. And that is exactly what was the very basis of capitalism. And stop and think about the brilliance of capitalism. It's built on personal responsibility and personal initiative. And you know what personal responsibility doesn't allow? It doesn't allow blaming. It just doesn't allow blaming. I'm so tired of everyone telling me who's at fault and who is to blame for everything. Can I tell you that the problem in America is the same problem that's in Michigan? And the problem in Michigan is government. And let me tell you, in a republic form of government, whose government? We are. And we can blame our politicians all day long. We elect them. That's right. And we have to understand there's a personal responsibility. And we have a bigger problem than how the elections are run. And it's called people not voting. That's a bigger problem. If people would be informed and vote properly, we would decide every election. And they wouldn't be able to cheat enough to decide them. But you know what happens? We don't.
50% of the public doesn't vote.
Right, and we blame everyone else for why we get the results we have, but we're not addressing the problem. And the problem is we need to have more people embrace what a republic form of government was, what we were given. And that means you have to be personally responsible. Every citizen has to be personally responsible. And every citizen has to initiate their vote. That's the very foundation of everything God designed. And our framers and founders understood that in a republic form of government. And we are fighting over nonsense. We're chasing things that we'll never be able to solve and never addressing what will fix the problem. And I think we have to come back to God. In other words, you don't unite around ideals or ideas. You unite around the design of God, because that doesn't ever change. You see? And so unification is an agreement. When we come to being unified, I like the word harmony better. You can tie two cats' tails together, throw them over a clothesline. You have unity. You do not have harmony. Right? That's a fact. We need to work towards harmony, which means there has to be a constant that never changes, that's what we unify around. We can disagree on my wife and I have been happily married for 32 years, and we don't always agree. But I tell her when we get to heaven, she finds out I was right. But I'm just kidding. Little joke. All right. Truth is that we're happily married, but we don't agree on everything. You know what? That's okay. Disagreement makes everyone sharper. But do you know what? We agree on God's design for marriage. We agree on God's roles in marriage. We agree to make God's design successful. And we can disagree on whether we should have mashed potatoes or baked potatoes. Okay? And it's all okay. So that's my 2 cents.